How Google tricked its employees into losing weight. Let's look at it.
Apparently harder to get a job at Google than it is to get into Harvard. Google employees are subject to a rigorous 4 to 6 week interview process that asks sociopathic questions like, how many golf balls can fit into a school bus? And why are manhole covers round? But for the select few geniuses that make the cut, there are a ton of weird and wonderful perks to working at Google. Feeling restless? Hit the rock climbing wall, take a yoga class, or play mini-putt on the roof. Need to de-stress? Try a nap in a $10,000 anti-gravity soundproof sleep pod fitted with cashmere eye masks and duck-down duvets. Or frolic in the rooftop meadow growing strawberries. But there is one thing that comes with the job that's not quite so fun: the weight gain. In this video, we'll discuss why Google employees were gaining weight and the psychology hack that Google used to fix that. New Google employees are actually warned that they should expect to gain about 15 pounds during their first 6 months of employment. You see, one of the most famous perks to working at Google is the food. It's said that Sergey Brin, Google's co-founder, decreed that no one shall ever be more than 150 feet away from food while working there. Its offices in California and Manhattan have more than 35 cafes and restaurants offering free gourmet chef-prepared meals.
Das muss so geil sein, da zu
And
arbeiten.
if that's not enough, there are hundreds of micro kitchens scattered around their offices filled with free-flowing candy, fruit chips, snacks, and desserts. And although employees of Google may be geniuses, they don't have superhuman willpower. One employee said she didn't even realize how much she was eating until she switched jobs and lost 15 pounds without even trying. This information isn't surprising,
Du musst sie fett und an ihren Plätzen halten.
however, as behavioral scientists have known for years how much influence our environment can exert over our actions. One of the best examples of this is a Las Vegas casino. Casinos are designed to be a frictionless, fun, and glamorous experience designed exquisitely to separate you from your money. The sound of success rings through the air, triggering thoughts that maybe next round you'll hit it big too, and subconsciously encouraging you to keep playing. ATMs are everywhere, so you never have to go too far to pull out more cash, leaving little time to rethink your decision. Bathrooms are hidden at the far back of the casino, and curving paths and flashing lights catch your attention and lure you into playing one last game against your wallet's best interests. Alcohol is free and delivered right to your chair, so you never have to stop gambling for a drink, while simultaneously lowering your inhibitions with liquor. As many gamblers may attest, you may have entered the casino believing you'd only spend the $200 you brought in, but leave with an empty wallet. The seemingly innocuous cues in the environment encouraging you to spend more, stay in your seat, and keep playing worked their magic to get you to behave differently than you'd anticipated. This is similar to what was happening to the employees at Google. Their work environment was subtly encouraging them to eat more, prompting people to overeat, often without them even realizing what was happening. As much as we'd like to believe we're always in conscious control of our actions, our behavior in any given scenario is partially due to an interaction between our personalities, genes, and the environment we find ourselves in. Prompts and cues in our surroundings grab our attention and suddenly prod and push every one of us to behave in ways we hadn't anticipated for. Given an attractive prompt to act, or cue, and easy access, convenience, countless studies have shown that most people will in fact eat more. Nobel Prize-winning economist Richard Thaler coined the term nudge to describe an indirect means of influencing behavior toward a desired action. In other words, redesigning the environment in such a way that it subtly takes you down a path or guides you to a specific choice. One of the key elements of behavior nudging is convenience. For better or for worse, a quirk of human psychology is that people almost always take the path of least resistance. The more convenient an action is to take, the more likely we are to do that thing. While the more resistance there is between us and the behavior, the less likely we are to do that thing. So, to influence our behavior toward healthy eating and weight loss, we need only to restructure our environments so that the healthy choice equals the easy choice. But of course, Google knows this. They're Google. They literally know everything. So what did they do? Using principles from behavioral science, Google managed to cut the calories consumed by their employees by 3.1 million in just 7 weeks' time, without getting rid of any of the high-calorie
Ja, wie viel Prozent sind das denn?
or unhealthy options. And how they did it reveals insights into small changes we can all make to make healthy choices much more easy and sustainable for ourselves. Teeny tiny differences in convenience and simplicity make all the difference when it comes to our decision. I'll try and illustrate how seriously small we are talking here. For example, say you're thirsty and you're equal distance from a fridge containing cold cans of pop and a tap where you can pour yourself a glass of water. It takes half a second to open a can of pop and 15 to 30 seconds to fill a glass of water.
Musst du das Glas noch holen?
Look at the difference in steps. Steps for pop: walk over, open fridge, crack pop. Steps for water: walk over, open cupboard, choose glass, turn on tap, run water for a second to get cold, and fill glass. Without intervention, pop would be the path of least resistance here when looking for a drink. And those few extra seconds, though seemingly inconsequential, are often enough to make pop the unconscious choice. To combat this convenience bias, Google installed chill spa water canisters everywhere you look.
Nice.
And moved sodas and even bottled water to more distant locations. They flavored the water with fruit and herb infusions to make it more appealing, placed it conveniently all around the office, and made the containers effortless to use, resulting in water being much quicker and more accessible than sugary drinks or even bottled water. The average person drinks at least 2 cups of coffee per day, and many drink considerably more than that. At Google, some coffee stations were located directly beside a snack bar, about 6 feet away, so that every time you engaged in your daily caffeine habit, you'd be prompted with the option to grab a snack. While other coffee stations
why the fuck not?
were located across the room from the snacks, about 17 feet away. When Google started monitoring snack consumption, they found that 20% of employees getting coffee from coffee bar A grabbed a snack, while only 12% did from coffee bar B. According to Google's own stats, that distance, just 4 or 5 extra steps, was enough to reduce the likelihood of snacking by as much as 23% for men and 17% for women. To put these results into perspective, for a man who drinks 3 beverages a day using the near coffee machine rather than the far one, say because the near station happens to be closer to his desk, can lead him to consume an additional 81 snacks a year. You can see how this effect might play out in your own workplace or home as well. Coffee and donuts are a frequent pairing in break rooms everywhere. The abundant candy and chocolate at Google used to be available in clear, candy store-esque, free-flowing containers, showcasing all different types of fun and colorful candy options. As you can imagine, Google employees were known to eat a lot of candy, which is particularly problematic when you consider how particularly calorie-dense candy is. To combat this, Google made a few changes to put some friction points between their employees and the candy. Sugary snacks like M&Ms were banished to the back of the kitchens, hidden away from view in opaque containers. We've already seen how even slightly increasing the distance between you and your favorite treat can reduce how much of it that you eat. But removing unhealthy snacks from your line of sight can also be very helpful in removing that visual cue to eat it. With the candy in full view at Google, people who were not even thinking about candy were reminded daily of its presence. But that simple act of removing it from sight removes that reminder to eat. This is why we sometimes forget to eat produce that's probably hidden away in a drawer in our fridge, but rarely forget to finish that bag of chips rolled up by the TV. Simply moving unhealthy snacks out of places you're most likely to see them can go a long way in terms of reducing that impulsive urge to consume them.
Deswegen habe ich 2 Kilo Karotten ins vorletzte Fach von oben reingestopft.
Google cafes and kitchens have been restructured using the principles of convenience and resistance to highlight the healthiest choices. The salad bar is the first thing you see when you walk into their cafes, followed by big bowls of fruit, all front and center, easily accessible and front of mind. At their buffets, vegetables are the first items on the line, and there are plenty of different, enticing options. This way, once you reach the meat, carbs, and desserts, your plate is already full of the healthiest options. In just 1 month, the amount of produce consumed by Google employees climbed by 2/3. And today, the company serves over 2,300 breakfast salads, up from 0 2 years ago. In sum, whether you're working at Google, on the Strip in Las Vegas, or sitting on your couch at home, your environment can either support or undermine your goals. If you want to eat more of something or do more of something, make it more convenient to do so. Make it easier to eat, more attractive, highly visible, or bring it closer to you. And if you want to eat less of something, make it more difficult to do so. Store it further away, don't leave it in your line of sight, and make it more difficult to get to.
Gut, das habe ich schon gemacht. Es ist so einfach wie möglich für mich, ein Beat anzufangen.